Okay, so in this video we are going to look at the empirical rule in inferential statistics. So for the empirical rule, we can only ever apply it when we have normally distributed data. And then once we see those two words, I have three conditions I can apply to my data based on the empirical rule. So we have 68% of the data will be within one standard deviation, 95% within two, and 99.7% of the data will sit within three standard deviations. So you need to memorize this rule. It's not in your log tables. It can be quite useful, obviously depending on the question, but it's a relatively straightforward theory to apply also. Okay, we'll try out a question. So a data set is normally distributed with a mean of 200 and a standard deviation of 15. Within what range does 68% of the data sit? We'll look at part one first. So 68% means it'll be within one standard deviation. So we set up our range. It'll be the mean minus a standard deviation, the mean plus a standard deviation. Now I'm overdoing it a little on workings here. You wouldn't need this level of detail, but just to introduce it, it's no harm. So my mean is 200 and the standard deviation was 15. So we'll get 200 minus 15. 200 plus 15. Let that tidy up. Get 185 and then we get 215. And there's your answer. Part two then. They asked for 95%. Now similarly, if the question had been worded as, within what percentage does two standard deviations of the data sit, and we'd be saying 95% and show our workings and so on. Or they might even say what percentage of the data sits between 185 and 215, and we'd calculate the distance of 185 to the mean 200 and 215 to the mean 200. It'll be the same difference either side, and that'll help us figure out if it's 1, 2 or 3 standard deviations, and then our percentage will come from that. Part 2 asked us for 95%. So 2 standard deviations to the left of the mean and then 2 standard deviations to the right of the mean. My mean is 200 and my standard deviation is 15. So we get 200 minus 2 times 15, 200 plus 2 times 15. So that's 200 minus 30, 200 plus 30. Again, wouldn't be a necessary step in your workings if this came up as a question. And we get 170 to 230. So you'll see now our range has increased a lot from our 68% answer. In part 3, we're asked about 99.7%, so that's 3 standard deviations. So we get the mean minus 3 and then the mean plus 3 standard deviations. My mean is 200 and we have a standard deviation of 15. So we get 200 minus 3 times 15, 200 plus 3 times 15. Bit of tidying up. That's 200 minus 45. 200 plus 45. So we get 155 and then 245. And there's my answer for that. Okay, so that's a quick example there of a standard deviation of the empirical rule. So 68% of the data within one standard deviation, 95% within two, and 99.7% within three. And that's us done.